Okay, so in one of my classes, in my mosaics class, we're reading The Souls of Black Folk by W.B. Du Bois, and it's an amazing book. Everyone should read it. And we had to choose a passage that we felt particularly strongly about, and I kind of pieced together this passage from the version that I have. Here's my book. I have this like super cheap version. It's on pages 38 to 41. So anyway, let's see. I'm just gonna. I was like typing it up, and I actually like got really emotional about it, and I was like, I feel like when this is read out loud. I was reading it so I could proofread it. I was like, when this is read out loud, it's so powerful. So I just thought that I would do that. Okay. In the black world, the preacher and teacher embodied once the ideals of this people, the strife for another and a juster world, the vague dream of righteousness, the mystery of knowing. But today, the danger is that these ideals, with their simple beauty and weird inspiration, will suddenly sink to a question of cash and a lust for gold. What if the Negro people be wooed from a strife for righteousness, from a love of knowing, to regard dollars as the be-all and end-all of life? What if to the mammonism of America be added the rising mammonism of the reborn South, and the mammonism of this South be reinforced by the budding mammonism of its half-wakened black millions? Whither, then, is the New World quest of goodness and beauty and truth gone glimmering? Must this and that fair flower of freedom, which despite the jeers of latter-day striplings sprung from our fathers' blood, must that too degenerate into a dusty quest of gold, into lawless lust with hippomenes? The riddle of existence is the college curriculum that was laid before the pharaohs, that was taught in the groves by Plato, that formed the trivium and quadrivium, and is today laid before the freedmen's sons by Atlanta University. And this course of study will not change. Its methods will grow more deft and effectual, its content richer by toil of scholar and sight of seer. But the true college will ever have one goal: not to earn meat, but to know the end and aim of that life which meat nourishes. They made their mistakes, those who planted Fisk and Howard and Atlanta before the smoke of battle had lifted. They made their mistakes, but those mistakes were not the things at which we lately laughed somewhat uproariously. They were right when they sought to found a new educational system upon the university. Where forsooth shall we ground knowledge save on the broadest and deepest knowledge? The roots of the tree rather than the leaves are the sources of its life. And from the dawn of history, from Academus to Cambridge, the culture of the university has been the broad foundation stone on which is built the kindergarten's ABCs. But these builders did make a mistake in minimizing the gravity of the problem before them, in thinking it a matter of years and decades, in therefore building quickly, and laying their foundation carelessly, and lowering the standard of knowing, until they had scattered haphazard through the South some dozen poorly equipped high schools, and miscalled them universities. They forgot, too, just as their successors are forgetting, the rule of inequality. That of the million black youth, some were fitted to know and some to dig. That some had the talent and capacity of university men, and some the talent and capacity of blacksmiths. And that the true training meant neither that all should be college men nor all artisans, but that the one should be made a missionary of culture to an untaught people, and the other a free workman among serfs. And to seek to make the blacksmith a scholar is almost as silly as the more modern scheme of making the scholar a blacksmith. Almost, but not quite. Teach workers to work. A wise saying, wise when applied to German boys and American girls, wiser when said of Negro boys, for they have less knowledge of working and none to teach them. Teach thinkers to think, a needed knowledge in a day of loose and careless logic. And they whose lot is gravest must have the carefulest training to think aright. If these things are so, how foolish to ask what is the best education for 1 or 7 or 60 million souls? Shall we teach them trades or train them in liberal arts? Neither, and both. Teach the workers to work and the thinkers to think. Make carpenters of carpenters and philosophers of philosophers and fops of fools. Nor can we pause here. We are training not isolated men, but a living group of men, nay, a group within a group. And the final product of our training must be neither a psychologist nor a brick-mason, but a man. And to make men, we must have ideals, broad, pure, and inspiring ends of living, not sordid money-getting, not apples of gold. The worker must work for the glory of his handiwork, not simply for pay. The thinker must think for truth, not for fame. And all this is gained only by human strife and longing, by ceaseless training and education, by founding right on righteousness and truth on the unhampered search for truth, by founding the common school on the university and the industrial school on the common school, and weaving thus a system, not a distortion, and bringing a birth, not an abortion.